this afternoon, 400 miles were ran under the hot late June sun, and tonight 310 more miles remain, this time under the blustery cool night of New England. Hi, hello, and good evening, race fans. It's a windy evening in Natick, Mass, as we're here for tonight's coverage of the NR2003 Mission Barbecue Cup Series race, the Baskin Robbins 310. Once again, we welcome everybody to tonight's Intercast here on the North American Sim Racing Network. My name is Trey Wright, and we're back here at the Hillside International Speedway and are halfway home through our opening day of the Dunkin Week of Speed. The Dunkin 400 earlier today was an absolute blast, but things have changed drastically weather-wise over the past few hours. A strong prevailing sea breeze has made its way inland, and with gusts of up to 30 miles an hour, tonight's 62-lap race is sure going to feel a lot longer than the 400-mile race we had earlier today. The wind is moving directly southwest as of right now, which is directly the opposite way the front stretch is facing. These drivers are going to face a massive headwind going down the front straightaway, but down the back stretch is even more treacherous. That's a direct tailwind, giving these cars about 10 to 15 miles an hour of a speed boost going into turn number 3. Watch out for that area to potentially become Calamity Corner here this evening. Having a look at the Dunkin Week of Speed bracket after race number 1, you'll see all the drivers that have advanced on to round number 2. One of those drivers was the winner of the 400-mile race earlier in Esteban Leclerc. The Argentinite will be racing against Michael Lewis here this evening. Logan Williams will be taking on Rogel Dorn. Angel Gutierrez squares off against Owen Miles, and Carson Miller is in the race against Thomas Troxel. On the other side of the bracket with the other 4 matchups, it will be Keegan Thompson racing against Caleb Rose. Bruno Diacomo will take on Campbell Marsh. Elijah Gordon faces off against Corey Case, and Ryan Durrani squares off against Braden Perez in the 8th and final matchup here in round number 2 of the Dunkin Week of Speed. The starting spots were based off of lap times earlier on at the Dunkin 400, so here's where every remaining driver will start, beginning with Esteban Leclerc. The 64 machine will start in 12th, while Michael Lewis will start all the way up in 7th in the 90 machine. Logan Williams starts in 18th, while Rogel Dorn is deep in the field in 32nd. Angel Gutierrez right next to Rogel Dorn in 31st, while Owen Miles will be caboosing the top 10 in 10th. Carson Miller will start next to Owen Miles in the 11th spot, while Thomas Troxel is a little bit behind Carson Miller. The 00 car will start in 14th. Keegan Thompson starts 3rd on the grid here this evening, while Caleb Rose is deep in the field all the way back in 35th. Bruno Diacomo is one of the deepest drivers as well. He starts in 34th, while Campbell Marsh gets his 2nd straight pole, his 4th of the season there in car number 31. He sits on position number 1. Elijah Gordon cabooses the top 20 in car number 47, while Corey Case, a couple of spots ahead of him in the 17th starting position, and Ryan Durrani will start in 5th, while Braden Perez starts to his outside in position number 4. Quickly peeking at the point standings after this afternoon's race, Esteban Leclerc was the points leader going into the race, and he extended his race lead by a lot after winning his first MBCS race of his career, the Dunkin 400. He leads Angel Gutierrez by 146 points. No real shakeups in the standings aside from Corey Case now rejoining the top 10, but something we'll have to keep an eye on tonight is Bradley Ream. A last place finish earlier in the first few laps meant that he couldn't lay down a couple of bad fast lap times, so that 2 machine starts where he finished earlier all the way back, shotgun on the field in 42nd, and because of that bad finish, Ream fell down to 19th in the point standings, but still holds on to that top wildcard spot with the 2 wins that he has amassed so far. But with a lot of guys up towards the front of the field who have won already this season, like Keegan Thompson and Zachary Fitzwater, that are outside of the top 10 right now, Ream's got to redial it back in for these final 9 races of the regular season, and he's got to hope and pray that he is able to stay afloat of everybody else that is vying to get their 2nd win, potentially punch their ticket into a wildcard spot. But if he has another performance like he did earlier on, he could potentially fall outside of the top 30 in points, and unlike the real-life NASCAR, the top 30 in points rule is in place. He could potentially have those wins negated if he finishes the regular season outside of the top 30. But that is, of course, then, and this is now, and the lights are bright here at Hillside for our 2nd race of the day, and we've got 310 more miles to run here tonight. It's time to get back on the go here in the Bay State. Let's go down trackside to once again get the most famous words in motorsports to crank them up for the 2nd race of the Dunkin Week of Speed, the Baskin Robbins 310.
Drivers, start your engines!
It's take two here at Hillside as the engines fire to life once again, and Campbell Marsh will once again lead the field to the green flag with his second pole of the afternoon, his fourth pole of the season. Cole Sampson looks to snap an 0 for winless streak dating all the way back to 2020. He'll make up the outside pole. Then in row number 2, Braden Perez, last year's Daytona 500 champion, starts the outside of this year's Rockingham winner Keegan Thompson. And back in row number 3, Ryan Durrani in the 86 will start next to Toby Murphy, who once again starts from the 6th starting spot. As everybody rolls off, there's Bradley Ream. We talked about him in the pre-race show, needing a good run here this evening as the Chevy Silverado pace truck will once again get the 1 to go signal. Fans once again flocking here to Hillside for the second race of the afternoon. Most who came for the afternoon's 400-mile race have stayed for the 310-mile one. Expect some of the same racing that we saw earlier on. The difference we expect is the stages and the laps. Only 62 laps in this 310-mile race. The stages concluding after 15 and 35 laps completed. Expect the tire wear to be aggressive, but not as aggressive as it was earlier. And of the 4 previous winners of this race, Juan Rodriguez is the only car on the grid here tonight. 48 cars starting midway through the field in 20 seconds. Well, we've done it already once today, so what do you say we do it again? Chevy Silverado pace truck will come down in the pit area, and for the second time this afternoon, Campbell Marsh will lead the field to the race's restart zone. Green flag is in the air. We're underway for race 2 at Hillside. Talk about a start for Keegan Thompson as he'll rocket his way to the front there in car number 14. Already Campbell Marsh did not get a good jump on that inside lane. Neither did Cole Sampson in the 5 machine. We got 3 wide nearly back in here. A lot of grip on the racetrack with the cooler temperatures, but the field will go up into the headwind. The caution is out, and Bradley Ream for the second time today junked in the Shell Pennzoil number 2. Logan Williams also caught up in it as well. We talked about it in the pre-race show as Igor Barreto gets turned into the outside wall by Bruno Diacomo. What in God's name is happening here? Diacomo, with no regard for the 13 machine, turned him up into the outside wall. We're under caution for the first time tonight, and it has been a horrible day for Bradley Ream. Wrecked out on lap number 7 earlier on, and tonight he will wreck out on lap number 2. Corey Case also comes down into the service area. What a start for Keegan Thompson on the other end of the racetrack, however. He's able to get the job done, but we're under caution early here in the Baskin Robbins 310. Bradley Ream in the garage area for the second time today. He has only completed 9 laps. 2 races here. We're going to take a look and see what happened to Ream here to put him in the garage area once again at Hillside. This was on lap number 2, and Corey Case gets hooked right in the left rear by Zachary Fitzwater, and just an unfortunate passenger there was the 17 of Logan Williams, who was fighting with Rogel Dorn for a spot in the Dunkin Week of Speed. Brennan Wilmington just puts on the brakes to avoid that spinning Hershey's Charger. And like we saw earlier on, what goes down must come back up, and can't get any more bad luck than this here as Bradley Ream minding his own business, and just like with Reggie Fogelman earlier on today, runs right into the rear end, just complete pack there of the 17 of Logan Williams, completely destroys both of those cars. And Bradley Ream, who was knocked out of the Dunkin Week of Speed with a last place finish earlier on today, will likely finish last once more. So Logan Williams also destroyed in the 17. That'll advance Rogel Dorn to the next round of the Dunkin Week of Speed. But like we said in the pre-race show, Ream needed a good run here today or tonight. And he is going to be in need of some dire finishes here over these next couple of weeks. But he'll regroup and move on to Papyrus. And we'll see what happens there. But tough break for both of those drivers. Same thing for Corey Case, who also came down the pit lane. But back up in here, we're going to play this in real time a bit. I'm not sure if they just got a little scrunched up off of the start here, but Bruno Diacomo, for no reason, right rears Igor Barreto up into the wall and turns that 13 car around. I don't know if Diacomo, the rookie, just lost a little bit of the handle of his race car, but Barreto goes around. Diacomo nearly took out Eric Monaco there in the 4 car, and Skylar Taylor around as well. We'll have to see how that plays out here tonight. And a reminder that both of these drivers will be racing tomorrow afternoon up in Bowmanville, Ontario at Mo Sport for the Canada Day Classic. They're both in the GT Daytona class. More on that later. So we're going to have to see how this all rolls out. But a couple of incidents here on the 2nd and 3rd lap, and we are already underway for what is going to be a crazy race here at Hillside in the nighttime. Following with Logan Williams in the 17 car, nowhere for him to go. He's just an unfortunate passenger. Goes right back up the banking, and Bradley Ream, wrong place, wrong time. That Shell Pennzoil number 2 slides down to 36 degrees of banking to its final resting place. Turn 3 has not been nice for Bradley Ream so far today as we look back in here at this incident once again. And nothing on the NR2003 officials radio just yet after what happened there. Diacomo is going to advance his position a little bit. And the 1 car came down the pit lane. That was Corey Case to repair some damage. It's Keegan Thompson. Won the race back to the start-finish line. He'll be your leader when we go back through the gears here in just a couple of moments. The Dunkin, or rather, Baskin Robbins 310. And we're back here at Hillside, cleaning up caution number 1 of the evening. Bradley Ream with yet another last place finish is going to put that 2 car in a deep hole. Same thing for Logan Williams, who advanced to round number 2 here tonight. 40 cars remain on the track. A little bit of an extended yellow there with the Service Master Clean safety crews having to clean up a little bit of oil that was leaking from the 2 machine. Keegan Thompson will lead the field back through the Reese's restart zone. Thompson, Perez, Durrani, Lewis, and Marsh, your top 5. Green flag back out in the air here. 7 down of the scheduled 62. What a jump there for Keegan right off of the start there, rocketing away from the rest of the field. Ryan Durrani peeks down to the inside of Braden Perez. Yeah, these 2 drivers are fighting in the Dunkin Week of Speed, so whoever finishes the highest of this pair will advance to round number 2 in a couple of days at Papyrus. Braden Perez stuck a little bit on the high side. Right behind him is Michael Lewis and Campbell Marsh. Looking to make some headway down the back straightaway. He'll go to the inside of Lewis. Back in here, somebody coming down the pit lane. That was Skylar Taylor, who came down the service area, the 3rd lane over, and nearly LePaged half of the field here as everybody's trying to run their race. Got to watch out for Diacomo and Barreto once again. Diacomo right on the back bumper of Igor Barreto will keep tabs on that battle as Skylar Taylor down the pit area. Battle for the race lead. Here comes Durrani to the low side. Durrani underneath of Keegan Thompson. Braden Perez right in his tire tracks. 4 to go here in stage number 1. Ryan Durrani looking to get a stage win here tonight. Both him and Perez have advanced to the Dunkin Week of Speed. Now they're racing against one another. Skylar Taylor back onto the racetrack. It's been a little bit of a slow start to the season here for Ryan Durrani. Finished 2nd in the race earlier today. And he's looking to advance his position by 1 point here. Nearly 3 wide for second back, and there is Michael Lewis looking to make his way to the front, trying to be the second rookie to win here today. Esteban Lasser, meanwhile, your winner from earlier on, has not been able to find a lot of grip in that 64. He is stuck on the outside lane in that Schweppes number 64 machine. Thomas Troxel and Daniel Bouchard making it 3 wide right below him. This is going to get a little tight off of the corner. And a good save there out of Bouchard in the 07 car. Nearly ran right into the side of the 00 of Troxel. Final lap in stage number 1. And it's still anybody's race up inside of the top 10. Half a lap to go in the opening stage. Thompson right behind of Durrani. Those two, nose to tail as they rocket off of turn number 4. Green and checkered out into the hillside air. Stage 1 will go to Ryan Durrani. Looks like in that final stage point will be the 23 of Hubert. All the way back there to complete the top 10. Keegan Thompson immediately looking to the inside of Durrani there for the top spot. Like we said, Keegan is one of those drivers that's outside of the top 10 that's looking to get a chase spot here. Potentially on points, but love to get that second win of the season, try to fall back on. Same thing for Braden Perez. It has been about a season and a half since Braden Perez has gone to victory lane. His last win coming in last year's Daytona 500. Michael Lewis trying to win in his 18th career start. Danny Fallington rounded out the top 5 right now in that 16 machine. A lot of drivers up in here either haven't won yet this season or have never won in their careers. Dylan Matthews looking for her second win of the season. Matthew Hubert looking for his 3rd ever win. His first win as an owner-driver, Vision Motorsports, with only 1 win this season so far. This is really good racing towards the top end of the field here. Everybody within striking distance of one another. Already 16 laps to go in stage number 2. Fast lap along into Brennan Wilmington, but for Papyrus qualifying, that's not going to be the case here in terms of fastest lap, so Wilmington will not start on the pole for Papyrus. The race will be done using traditional qualifying prior to the race here with the multi-day turnaround. Thompson now under fire from the Riverside, California native of Perez there in that Hulu number 92. Perez trying to get around that Monte Carlo SS of Thompson. Here for this weekend are the new Monte models. The nose, a little bit more rounder shape in the bottom grille. Taken away here from the new SS models. Finally got that historically accurate. Doesn't really matter for Ryan Durrani, however, and he's beginning to check out just a little bit in that 86 car. 23 laps into a run, we haven't seen anybody go up into the outside wall just yet, although Ryan Durrani was very close and somebody got up in there. We got, I believe that was Owen Miles in that Celsius 05 car. And rode the lightning just a little bit, so I think now we're going to start to see some drivers when we get into this run. Hit the outside wall just a little bit. It's not going to be as aggressive as we saw in race number 1 earlier on, where pretty much everybody was smacking the wall. Carson Miller will slide up into the DMs of the safer barrier, but will keep it straight. The tire wear is starting to really come into play here. 11 to go in stage number 2. It's been all Ryan Durrani so far in this contest. Marsh rounding out the top 6-pack here. Car number 31 got a solid run earlier on in the earlier race today in advance of the Dunkin Week of Speed. We'll take a look at some of the drivers of the Dunkin Week of Speed right now. Ryan Durrani currently ahead of Braden Perez, who gets up into the outside wall. Keegan Thompson currently ahead of Caleb Rhodes, who's deep in the field there in car number 32. He's midway in position number 26. Michael Lewis ahead of Esteban Lasser by quite a few spots. There's Lasser in the 64, just outside of the top 10. We're going to have to see how pit stops shake things up, because we saw with Lasser, the reason that he had such a clean and quick pit stop is that he kept his car clean. majority of the race, and here we go, lap number 28, and everybody is going to come down the pit lane. Not Ryan Durrani, however. Durrani will stay out for an extra lap or so. Keegan Thompson, the first car coming down here on lap 28. Looks like Reggie Fogelman is down the service area as well. He's got up into the outside wall. It's not been a good day so far for Chevy Power Racing. Everybody else is going to come down. Somebody going around, and the yellow flag is out. I believe that's Alex Lozano that's buried in the attenuator. The caution flag will fly. And this is a scoring nightmare, to say the least. It was indeed Alex Lozano who went hard into the inside wall. Somebody with a little bit more contact here on the pit lane. Not sure who that was. But everybody was coming down the pit lane that last time by, and we are going to have quite the scoring conundrum. We're going to see how this will all shake things out. Golly. I hate when this happens. And that was right at the midway point in the race as well, so we could potentially see these guys do 2 pit stops here. Caleb Rose is down into the service area. I believe Rose and Marsh may be at the front end of the field here. I don't know. We're going to have to see how this all sorts out, but we had a couple of cars going around. That was Barretto and somebody else who went around. We're focused on Alex Lozano being impaled there in the pit barrels, which that's going to require an extended cleanup that may end this stage under the caution flag. A little bit of perplexion here under pit stops, but nonetheless, Campbell Marsh being shown as the race leader. We'll see how this all shakes out. But nonetheless, we're going to see what happened to bring out the second caution of the night here, the Dunkin Week of Speeds, race number 2, Baskin Robbins 310. So there was a lot of trouble getting on the pit lane for several drivers, and Carson Miller runs right into the back of Matthew Hubert. And Hubert's going to get turned around here as everybody was coming down the pit lane right out around the last second. And Alex Lozano is all the way up at about the second lane on the racetrack. We thought he was going to stay out, but he was hearing from his crew chief, pit this time, pit this time, pit this time, and he goes way late past, goodness gracious, I can't believe he tried to get down the pit lane all the way from here. He's in the Reese's restart zone when he tries to get down the pit lane, trying to turn that car hard all the way, and sees his mistake, and kablamo, hard into the pit barrels. We're going to have an extended caution flag here to try to sort this all out. But goodness gracious, and then Charlie Davenport down the pit lane as well, loses control. He was able to gather back up and going. I don't know what happened with Barretto here. Someone ran into Barretto. Or was it the next time by? I don't know. I could have swore that somebody got ran into on the pit lane, but we probably missed it anyway. I believe it may have been Davenport who got ran into, but we're going to take another look at this in real time. But goodness gracious, Alex Lozano with one of the hardest hits of his career right into the pit barrels, and he made a big mess. Real-time replay following with Alex Lozano. Way too late entry into the pit area. I think it was just Charlie Davenport that got a little bit squirrely coming onto the pit area. And that is going to make things very interesting in terms of scoring. I believe Campbell Marsh was the only car to stay out. I believe he will be your race leader along with potentially Caleb Rose here. But we are going to figure things out. We'll get everything sorted out. We'll get you back to the restart here at Hillside. So we're back here at Hillside, and this is an interesting conundrum. Alex Lozano got knocked out. 28 cars are still on the track. Everybody is on the tail end of the lead lap, and somehow nobody wants to go back here. So what's going to happen is that we're going to take the green flag. Everybody's going to do a lap as Campbell Marsh is the race leader, and he is going to win stage number 1 unorthodoxically when we get back to the stripe. But what's going to happen? Everybody is going to get back here. We're going to throw the caution out once again. Everybody should be able to get their lap back here, being on the tail end of the lead lap. So once everybody will cycle through, we'll throw the green flag back out into the air. Ryan Durrani will take it. And Marsh is there. And caution flag is back out here. And hopefully everybody will be able to get back in time. Marsh right behind the 84 and the 98. A little bit squirrely there off of the corner, but it looks like everybody will be getting their laps back here as they race back around. And Marsh and Caleb Rose will indeed hold up behind the pace truck here. Oh, everybody trying to get slowed down in time to stay behind the pace truck. Everybody that is not a lap down will go around the Chevy Silverado pace vehicle. Elijah Gordon runs right in the back of it, but and Campbell Marsh, is he going to come back down the pit lane here? I believe he might. Thank you, Alex Lozano, for just completely making things just a scoring mess here. I believe the 31 did indeed come back down the pit lane, and we're going to get a couple more takers coming down to the service area to top off here. I believe Caleb Rose is going to cycle out to be your new race leader. But we're going to keep it here for the time being. Make sure that everything cycles out the way that it's supposed to. Alexander Rowe and quite a few drivers are going to top off here on fuel. Stage 2 results are on your screen. Campbell Marsh was able to win stage number 2. Being a little bit unorthodox here, but Ryan Durrani will be back out here in car number 86. Wave around cars will come down the pit lane once again, and I believe everything should sort out nice and orderly. Caleb Rose being scored as the leader. We're gonna have to see how this all shakes up. With everybody coming down the pit lane there, it kind of kerfuffled things just a little bit. But in order to have a fair and just completely non-BS finish, this is what we're doing here for NR2003. It's a 21-year-old. It's not even 20. It's a 22-year-old game. You know, I'm a little bit older than this game by about a couple of months here, but especially on short tracks with cars going down in the middle of pit stops, it just makes things very, very, very weird. But Caleb Rose is your race leader. He has got one win here at Hillside, came in the day race all the way back in 2021. Lights are off on the pace truck. And by the looks of it, all the lap down cars are gonna be sorted to the back here. We are gonna get a restart here with 22 laps to go in the Baskin Robbins 310. Making sure everybody will sort out to the back, and they do. Juan Rodriguez, Owen Miles, and a couple of other cars sent to the boondocks here. But it'll be Caleb Rose who leads in the 32 Tide Ride. Rose was behind Keegan Thompson for the majority of this race. Keegan did not get it, but he was trapped a lap down onto that last pit stop. He's deep in the field in 20th. But it's Rose, John Andrews, Campbell Marsh, Matt Wolf, and Ryan Durrani. So go back through the gears here. 22 laps to go in the Baskin Robbins 310, and a good jump there for the 7 of John Andrews. He'll scoot to the inside there, the 32 of Rose. Andrews down to the low side of Caleb there, nearly going 3 wide for second. Here comes Matt Wolf charging his way to the front. Trying to get American Motorsports their second win of the season. Nearly 4 wide up, and here is Ryan Durrani down to the low side. We are going to go 4 wide. Heads up, around goes Wolf in front of the field. And oh boy, this is going to be a big stack up in turn 3. Wolf in front, everybody's going to pile in. Multiple cars upside down. It's the big one in Calamity Corner. George I's upside down. Thomas Troxel on top of him. Those 2 cars looking like a couple of drunk lovers, and we are not going to have anybody left for a race after the big one here on lap number 42. Well, that changed things. John Andrews will come back down the pit lane here. Jeez Louise. Oh my goodness, it is not a race on the North American Sim Racing Network without some shenanigans going on. And, well, Ryan Durrani made it 4 wide and basically just drove by as Rome burned. Riley Sampson will now be shown as the race leader. Oh, that was about the dumbest thing that I think I've ever seen here at Hillside. Again, turn 3, for some reason, is insane. Igor Barreto got piled into there in the rear end. He's got a lot of damage, that 13 car. Bruno Diacomo is destroyed. Angel Gutierrez is destroyed. Campbell Marsh, rather, that's Cole Sampson, who's completely destroyed in the 5 car. Alex Sanvitale took the hood off and the front end, so he's running a modified. Oh my God. Oh, goodness gracious. Well, Riley Sampson leads the way. We've got to take a couple of looks at this crash. The big one, the huge one, the massive one, taking out about half the field here. I can do nothing but laugh. That was about the most MBCS crash here at Hillside we could possibly have. And things get a little crazy in the nighttime. Riley Sampson leads. We'll see what happened to bring us out the 4th official caution of the evening here at Hillside. So Ryan Durrani will win the Boneheaded Move of the Race award as he makes it 4 wide right off of the restart. This is the battle for second. And the reason I mentioned that is it's going to come into play here in a couple of moments, but Wolf gets pinched up the racetrack, gets into the 31 of Marsh, who goes into the 32 of Rose. And the reason that I bring up this is the battle for second. There's 35 cars behind this entire melee. Both the 31 and the 32 just go back up the top side of the track, and like a great YouTuber once said, the track is blocked, everybody screams. A couple of hard hits into the outside wall for the 31, the 8, the 5. Cole Sampson was able to return to the racetrack with a very damaged DeWalt number 5, but it is pretty much on from here. Keegan Thompson just gets through. Same thing with Esteban Lacer, but this is where all hell breaks loose all the way back in here. Caleb Rose goes upside down. Dano Georgi's upside down. Now, this is the only view we really have to show you the sheer scale of this crash. Oh, Reggie Fogelman gets run into by Daniel Bouchard back in there. That is about 20 cars, all in a junkyard, wadding it up in turn 3. You see Dano Georgi and Thomas Troxel on top of one another, a la the movie Cars. That looked exactly like Todd Marcus and Claude Scruggs in the opening scene of Cars. Just the opposite way. Troxel beached on top of the 34. Oh, golly. I don't think I have seen more flips at a specific part of a racetrack like I have seen here at Hillside. It's the 36 degrees of banking here, especially in turn number 3. Remember Juan Rodriguez getting T-boned a couple of years ago, and just so many violent accidents here in turn number 3. But we're going to take another couple looks at this accident here, but goodness gracious. I think it's safe to say that this was the biggest crash we're going to see all season long here in the MBCS. One final look at this crash following the 32 of Caleb Rose. There's just so much going on that it's impossible to just show the sheer amount of carnage here. Again, that is about 12, 15 cars, all this frame alone, that have been taken out. Several cars were not able to drive back. Several other cars have pulled up behind the garage area. We do have a couple of modified looking cars out on the track here. But Riley Sampson, wherever he may be, stayed out here under this caution flag as John Andrews went back down the service area to top off on fuel. We'll see what Riley is able to do on the restart here. He was knocked down the Dunkin week of speed earlier on today. See if he's able to bring that 24 car back to Gatorade Victory Lane for the first time in about a year and a half here. Here in the tail end of the Baskin Robbins 310. We're back at the Hillside International Speedway, cleaning up caution number 4 of the night. All the drivers knocked out from that massive crash on lap 42. Reggie Fogelman was the first car to go to the garage area. Logan Alexander was the last one. 11 cars knocked out from that crash. I believe that's actually 12 cars knocked out from that crash on lap 42. 18 cars remain on the racetrack. On the lead lap, I should say. 27 remain on the racetrack. Riley Sampson is your race leader. Ryan Durrani is second. Mitchell Collins is third. Braden Perez is fourth. Matthew Hubert cabooses the top 5. Going back through the gears with under 15 laps to go. Green flag back out in the air. And hopefully we can get home with a little bit of green flag racing. Sampson with a good launch off of the start here, but here comes Mitchell Collins down to the low side. He'll get past Ryan Durrani. Now Ryan Durrani in danger of being passed by Braden Perez. How about Elijah Gordon in that 47 car? He started this race all the way back in 20th. He's been able to get around Corey Case here as, oh boy, a little close for comfort and into the outside wall went the 92 of Perez. He got a little pinned up into the outside wall there by Elijah Gordon, the 47. Meanwhile, for the race lead, here comes Mitchell Collins as Eric Monaco nearly got turned there off of turn number 4. Durrani looking to get his first win of the season here. He's to the inside of Mitchell Collins. Durrani finished second in the race earlier on this afternoon. Right now, he shoot himself potentially inside the top 5 in points here, maybe the top 10, I should say. He's able to get the job done. He's up to second. We've got quite a few stragglers here on the racetrack that have remained on, but pretty much everybody in contention for this race up near the front end of the field. It's Riley Sampson who leads them back to 11 to go at the start-finish line. Collins in second, trying to track him down. Ryan Durrani now in a fight for third there, with Elijah Gordon looking for his best finish of the season so far. Gordon looking for the slide job, not able to get to the outside of Ryan Durrani. 10 laps to go in the Baskin Robbins 310, and hopefully there'll be 10 to go here, all run under the green flag. But it's a battle of a couple of veterans here up at the front end of this field. Riley Sampson has not won a race since Rockingham all the way back in 2024. Mitchell Collins had 3 wins last season. He's going to look to the inside of Riley Sampson going down in turn number 2. Collins looking to tie himself with Keegan Thompson and Eric Monaco. The all-time winningest drivers here on the North American Sim Racing Network. Collins has 6 wins at the Cup level. I'd love to tie himself with Eric Monaco. So he gets into the outside wall as he ran to the outside of his boss man right there, Igor Barreto, who's very slow on the racetrack. That's going to hold up the entirety of this inside lane. Durrani will shoot to the inside of Barreto. Braden Perez will do so as well. Coming around here is Riley Sampson in that 24 machine. 3 cars in contention for this race win here. 6 laps to go in the Baskin Robbins 310, and Riley Sampson trying to hold off a hard-charging Mitchell Collins. Elijah Gordon is up over Corey Case, who was 5 seconds back. He's going to be gunning for his first win since Texas World all the way back in 2022. Count 'em, 5 laps to go in the Baskin Robbins 310. It is Sampson, Collins, Gordon. Elijah Gordon returning to the MBCS competition here in 2025, competed back in 2022. These 3 cars all in contention to get the job done, but are they able to make it on fuel? I believe that they should be able to. Meanwhile, here's Keegan Thompson charging his way to the front end of the field there in that 14. Thompson was able to get around. Well, Caleb Rose wrecked out of this race, so Keegan Thompson will be moving on here. 4 laps to go. Make it 3 laps to go here in the Baskin Robbins 310. Riley Sampson opening up that gap by a little bit there in that peak number 24. One Sampson brothers started on the outside pole for tonight's race. The other one trying to go to Gatorade victory lane. 2 laps to go for Riley Sampson. Now Elijah Gordon trying to get around the 71 of Mitchell Collins. Gordon gets up into the outside wall here. No lap traffic in front of Riley. He's got 1.25 miles remaining in this contest. White flag in the air. One more time around Hillside International. Australia's Riley Sampson trying to go to Gatorade victory lane for the first time this season. Couple of cars down the service area. But off down the back straightaway, going into turns 3 and 4. Through Calamity Corner goes Riley Sampson. And off of turn number 4, checkered flag in the air. Getting his first win of the season as Australia's Riley Sampson. He'll win the Baskin Robbins 310. As a lot of cars came down the pit lane, they could not make it on fuel. And we'll have to see how that shakes things up here in the Dunkin Week of Speed. Esteban Lasser gets turned by the 71. And, well, Braden Perez hits the attenuator. It doesn't mean anything since the race is over, but Perez will destroy that 92 car. A lot of cars being destroyed here on the tail end of this race. Riley Sampson gets the job done, however. Appleseed Racing will get their 2nd win of the season. Here, Riley Sampson didn't move on in the Dunkin Week of Speed earlier on this afternoon, but he'll get his first win of 2025 and will get his 3rd career win here in the Mission Barbecue Cup Series. His first win since last year's race at Rockingham. Mitchell Collins will finish in 2nd. Elijah Gordon will round out the podium. Durrani and Perez. And Durrani, by the skin of his teeth, will get past Braden Perez there. He had about a 0.7 of a second lead over Braden Perez, but Ryan Durrani will just get past Braden Perez to advance the Dunkin Week of Speed. And we'll go through the drivers that finished out of this race. I feel bad for Bradley Ream. It has been a horrible day for that Shell Pennzoil number 2 team. Logan Williams finishing 2nd to last. He does not move on. And all the drivers that remain. Alex Lozano, I believe. Did Lozano advance? I do not believe that he did. He indeed did not. Didn't matter. Lozano running into the attenuator to bring out that 2nd caution was really what just completely turned the race onto its head. Thomas Troxel finishing down below, way below Carson Miller, so Troxel will be knocked out. Angel Gutierrez and Owen Miles both were knocked out of this race. No, Owen Miles stayed on the racetrack. Where did Gutierrez? Was Gutierrez? No, he was in the garage area, so Gutierrez will not move on. We know that Rogaldorn will move on. Esteban Lasser and Michael Lewis is the big thing. Did Michael Lewis get caught up in that wreck at the right there? I don't believe he did. Lewis was 9th, and Lasser was running mid-pack all day, and he came down the pit lane down the last lap. So Lasser got the win early this afternoon, but he will finish 21st here tonight. That'll move Michael Lewis into the Elite 8 here on this side of the bracket. Then on the other side, Keegan Thompson was able to finish 6th, way ahead of Caleb Rose, who wrecked out of this contest. Bruno Diacomo and Campbell Marsh is interesting, I believe. Diacomo, did he wreck out here? He did. He finished in 35th, and Campbell Marsh ended up being in 29th, so Marsh will move on in that battle. Elijah Gordon versus Corey Case. Corey Case did not finish above third, so Elijah will be moving on. And then, like we said, Ryan Durrani by one position will bump Braden Perez out of the Dunkin' Week of Speed. And that will do it. It's not common for the night race of Hillside to be 1,000 times more crazy than the day race, given the shorter distance. We saw this race go caution-free last year here. But we're only getting the Dunkin' Week of Speed started here in the North American Sim Racing Network. Not only do we have today completely started or completely gone here with 2 races and 710 miles ran here at Hillside, we've also got a race tomorrow afternoon up in Canada. Next time we'll be on the North American Sim Racing Network will be tomorrow afternoon up in the Great White North for the Flowmaster Grand Touring Championship, where coverage for the Tim Hortons Canada Day Classic will kick off at noon Eastern from the Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, only on the NASRN. 25 drivers of the FMGTC grid will be drivers who have came up from Massachusetts up to Canada. 25 drivers on the grid here tonight will face up or race up north up in Bowmanville, Ontario. 15 drivers for GTLM raced here tonight, and 13 of those drivers raced in GT Daytona that raced here this evening as well. And the next time we'll be on the MBCS circuit here will be in a couple of days, July 1st. I believe that will indeed be Tuesday. So we get tomorrow, Monday, off for the Cup Series. We'll be back here Tuesday, July 1st. At the Papyrus Motorsports Park over in Waltham, Massachusetts for a 28-lap contest around the 3 3/4 of a mile long Papyrus Motorsports Park. The RaceDiecast.com 300K will get started at noon Eastern Time right here exclusively on the North American Sim Racing Network. We are just getting this week started. 2 races down, 5 races to go, folks, and it is absolutely going to be one hell of a week up here in New England, Canada, and New York alike. But that's going to do it here from Hillside. Congratulations once again to Riley Sampson for winning the Baskin Robbins 310. Good morning, good afternoon, and finally, good night, ladies and gentlemen. Here are your Dunkin' Week of Speed bracket and point standings after race number 18 of the 2025 MBCS season. And from Natick, Massachusetts, on behalf of the North American Sim Racing Network, my name is Trey Wright. Have a great rest of your night, folks. We'll see you tomorrow up in Canada for the Grand Touring cars. And for your Cup Series fans, we'll see you over on Tuesday over in Waltham, Massachusetts for the RaceDiecast.com 300K. Irregardlessly, have a great night, folks. We'll see you all throughout this week.